You've always been a fighter, not because you wanted to be, not because you liked hurting people, because life didn't give you a choice. It started in the small gym, the one with peeling paint on the walls, the one that smelled like old leather and sweat the moment you walked in. You were just a kid, maybe 9, maybe 10. You barely remember, but you remember this. The first time your gloves touched the bag, and it hit back. It didn't feel like glory. It didn't feel like those movies where the hero wins the belt. It felt like your knuckles were breaking, but you kept punching. Because back then, this wasn't about titles or fame. It was about not quitting. And quitting? That wasn't an option where you came from. The other kids were bigger, faster, meaner. You got hit in the nose, the eyes, the ribs. You went home with black eyes and told your mom you fell at school. But you kept coming back. Why? Because in that ring, for the first time, it wasn't about where you lived, what you wore, how much money your family had. It was just you, and the bag, and the guy in front of you trying to break your will. And every time you got back up, every time you threw one more punch, you weren't just fighting him. You were fighting everything else that ever tried to keep you down. The coaches noticed. Not because you had the best jab, not because you had perfect footwork, but because you wouldn't quit. "You've got heart, kid," they said. What they didn't say was that heart isn't enough. Not here. So you trained harder. You ran when your legs burned. You shadowboxed until your shoulders couldn't lift. You skipped rope until the soles of your feet blistered. And the first time you stepped into a real fight, the lights were too bright. The gloves are too heavy. The ring too big. You were scared, but fear didn't stop you. The bell rang, and it was just fists and instinct. You didn't win that night, but you survived. And in this game, sometimes that's enough. The years passed. You fought older kids, tougher kids, bigger gyms, better coaches. Your body hardened. Your reflexes sharpened. But so did the toll. Your knuckles swelled. Your ribs are bruised. Your jaw clicked when you chewed. Nobody sees that part. The crowd only remembers the knockouts, the belts, the raised hands. They don't see the mornings when you can't tie your own shoes because your wrists won't bend. They don't feel the headaches after sparring. They don't hear the ringing in your ears that won't go away. And yet, you keep coming back. Why? Because now, this is who you are. You're not just a kid from a broken neighborhood. You're a boxer. And boxers don't quit. The stakes get higher. The crowds are bigger. The opponents are smarter. They study you now. They know your style. They know your habits. One mistake, one lazy jab, and you're on the canvas. So you push harder. Early runs before sunrise, double sessions, ice baths that numb your legs. And every fight feels like war. Your hands bleed under the wraps. Your ribs ache with every breath. And still, you fight. Because the moment the bell rings, it's all gone. The noise, the fear, the pain. It's just you, your fists, your will. But there's a cost. Your shoulders grind when you sleep. Your neck locks when you turn. Your memory slips sometimes. Little things, names, dates, moments. And the worst part? Nobody talks about it. Not your trainers, not the promoters. Because the truth is simple. In this business, if you show weakness, you're replaceable. There's always another kid, younger, fresher, hungrier. And the minute you slip, they'll take your spot. So you fight through it. You ice, you tape, you grit your teeth. You tell yourself you've got a few good fights left, but deep down, you know every round is taking something from you. And someday, the punches won't bounce off anymore. Someday, one shot will be one too many, and nobody's going to tell you when that day is. You have to feel it yourself. But here's the truth. Even if they told you, even if they begged you to stop, you wouldn't. Because this isn't about belts anymore. It's about pride. It's about proving to yourself every single time that you still belong in that ring. That when the bell rings, when the lights hit, you're still the one who gets up. You remember your first win. Not the cheers, not the trophy, but the feeling deep in your chest when your hand got raised. That you earned this. That for all the pain, all the sacrifice, it mattered. And that's why you fight. Not for the crowd, not for the money, but for that one moment, that feeling when the other guy breaks and you don't. When the ref pulls you apart and you know you're still standing. You're still here. You've had fights where you couldn't lift your arms after the fourth round. You've had sparring sessions that left you pissing blood, but you showed up anyway. Because pain doesn't stop you. Loss doesn't stop you. Even doubt doesn't stop you. You hear the whispers. He's slowing down. You feel it too. But you bite down on the mouthpiece and walk to the center anyway. Because you're not here to look pretty. You're here to finish what you started. And even when the gloves come off, even when your career ends, that fighter, that heart, never leaves you. Because once you've walked through those ropes, once you've tasted what it means to fight when everything hurts, there's no going back. That's why it sucks to be a boxer. And that's exactly why you'll never stop.